No end to it all. Though all year I've muttered my pleas to the gods for a long groped for end. Wish it were over, this waiting, this watching. 12 weary months, night in and night out, crouching and peering, head down like a bloodhound, paws propping muzzle, up here on the palace belonging the blood clan of Atreus, Agamenon, Menelaus, bloodkin, our clan chiefs. I've been so long staring, I know the stars backwards, the chiefs of the star clans, king stars, controllers, those that dispense us the cold snaps and dog days. I've had a whole year's worth, so I ought to know. A whole year of it. Still no sign of the signal I'm supposed to catch sight of. The beacons, the torch blaze that means Troy's finally taken. The woman says watch, so here I am, watching. That woman's not one who's all wan and woeful. That woman's a man, the way she gets moving. Put down your palliasse, dew-drenched by daybreak, not the soft bed you dream anything good in. Fear stays all night. Sleep gives me short time. Daren't drop off, though. Might miss it, the beacon. And if I miss it, life's not worth the living. Sometimes, to stop nodding, I sing, or try singing. But songs stick in my gullet. I feel more like weeping when I think of the change that's come over this household. Good once and well ordered, but all that seems over. Maybe tonight it'll finish, this watching, this waiting, an end to the torment we've yearned for. 10 years. Come on, blasted beacon, blaze out of the blackness. It's there! An oasis like daylight in deserts of dark. It's there! No mistaking. Agamemnon's woman. Best let her know the beacon's been sighted. Time all the women were wailing their welcome. Troy's taken. Troy's down and Troy's flattened. They'll be dancing in Argos and I'll lead the dance. My master struck lucky. So have I reckon. Sighting the beacon's a dice throw, all sixes. Soon I'll be grasping his hand, Agamemnon's. Let him come home to us, whole and unharmed. As for the rest, I'm not saying. Better not said. Say that an ox ground me gob into silence. They'd tell such a story, these walls, if they could. Those who know what I know what I'm saying. Those who don't know won't know. Not from me.
Years since clan chief Menelaus and his blood king Agamenon.
The twin-yoked rule from clan chief Atreus.
Double throne stones. Double chief staves.
Pursued the war suit against Priam.
Launched the 1,000-ship armada off from Argos to smash Troy. Mewing war cries, prey birds shrilling, nest their child loss, wild frustration, nestlings snaffled, prey birds soaring, wildly sculling, swirling airstreams, using broad bird wings like oars. Birth pangs, nothing. Nest care, nothing.
Nothing!
Fostered nestlings, nothing.
crying,
Mewing!
Free birds!
shrilling.
But one of the god powers up above them,
Apollo,
Pan!
or Zeus, high he-god,
hearing the birds' shrill desolation,
Birds! Just strangers in God's spaces.
sends down the slow but certain fury.
To appease the grudge the grieved birds feel.
So Zeus, protector of man's guest right, sends the avenging sons of Atreus down on Paris.
Son of Priam. Because of Helen,
Last road.
man hive. Helen the she manned by too many he's. Bed bond.
no, not bed bond, spear clash,
Sword half shattered.
hacked bone smashed,
Sparring. Skirmish.
dust clouds,
Bloodstorm. Trojans.
Greeks,
Not bed bond. Blood bath.
What came next?
Didn't see.
So can't tell you.
what Calchas foretold, all came to fulfillment.
Suffering comes first, then after awareness.
The future? You'll know when it's here.
Foreseeing the future's to weep in advance.
The present's enough.
And what's going to happen?
Let it be what we've hoped for.
Us,
The poor remnant.
so long the sole bulwark of monarchless Argos.
Clytemnestra, we come to you as we would to our clan chief.
For it's right that we honor the wife of the clan chief when the manlord himself's not here on the throne stone.
Is it good news and firm news?
Or mere wishful thinking?
that makes you sacrifice now on the godstones?
Like mother, like daughter. May last night's good news give birth this dawn light to a day like her mother. What I've got to tell you is beyond all you've hoped for. The Greek armies have taken the city of Priam.
Taken Troy. Did my ears hear you right?
Wasn't I clear? Troy was taken last night.
My eyes fill with tears, tears of sheer joy.
Then your eyes know it's true, our taking of Troy.
Can you be certain with no news that's concrete?
Yes, unless the whole thing is some he-god's deceit.
Or some dream of Troy taken which seems to you true?
I put trust in seeming, no more than you.
Some rumor has reached you the wars is an end.
I'm no simple child wit. Don't condescend.
So Troy has been taken, when did you say?
Last night. She who just gave birth to today.
The news came so fast over such a long way.
Fire god Hephaestus flashed out from Mount Ida. Flame after flame bore the beacon's dispatches. Jaded flame to fresh flame, bearing the fire news. Ida to crag Hermes on the island of Lemnos. From there its third stretch to the top of Mount Athos, the peak that Zeus favors. Then further upwards and over the ocean, dazzling and flaring, luring up fish souls to see what the flash is. A fire-tailed comet transmitting its message to the watchtowers, scanning the sky on Markistos. They weren't caught napping. They flung the flame onwards, and it hurtled over Euripus, and watchmen marked it from their Messapian outpost. They kindle heaped brushwood and speed the flame further. It gathers momentum. It doesn't diminish. It streaks like a meteor over Asopus and lands on Kithyron and sparks off the next one. again not neglected, so eager the watchmen, they get up a blaze that doubles the last one. From the bog of Golgopis to Mount Egyptlantis, the bright chain of fire links remaining unbroken. They spare no effort and heap on the kindling. The flame hair streaming out over the headland that faces Gulf Ceylon, and then dropping southwards to the crag of Arachne that borders on Argos, then straight to the roof of the palace of Atreus, the flame that was fathered in Troy's conflagration. My torchbearers bearing the batons of blazes. That's the sign, the proof you've been wanting. All the way from Troy, from my man Lord to me.
The gods will get all our thanks for their bounty.
But your tale's such a marvel, we'd like it repeated.
We'd like all the details. You said first that Hephaestus...
Troy's held by the Greeks is the truth you're not grasping.
Pour oil onto vinegar in the same food pot. They'll never blend in brotherly blood bond. So life lots in conflict cause cries that conflict. The Trojans all tearful, their arms round their fallen, embracing cold corpses, the widows, the orphans, knowing their own lives mean only bond chains, keen for their bloodkin, their nearest, their dearest. The Greeks, their whole night spent in harsh skirmish, famished for breakfast, swoop down onto Troy. No billets allotted, all discipline broken, each man for himself, the luck of the straw lot. They bed themselves down in the houses they captured, free of the night frost, rough beds in the open, sleep for once without sentries, and wake up refreshed. So provided they don't give Troy's gods provocation and leave unmolested their sacrosanct seats, there's a chance that the victors will never be victims. I hope our platoons aren't driven by loot, lust, to bring what's tabooed back home here as booty. They still need some safety on the last lap back home. And even if the Greeks give grudge to no godheads, the dead that they've slaughtered can't sleep forever. Let disaster stop at the place it's reached so far. The cycle be broken and hope start to happen. Let a life lot that's lucky get crowned with the laurels. You've heard all my feelings. Those of a woman.
You feel like a woman, but talk like a man talks.
Now I've heard all your proofs. Now I can offer the gratitude due to the gods who guard our gods.
The joy we feel now seems worth all we've suffered.
Zeus, the high he-god, with night as his helper, cast a vast trammel over Troy's towers.
Men get meshed in it.
Women.
Children.
All dragged ashore and beached in harsh bondage.
Zeus cast it. Zeus, protector of guest right.
Zeus got the bullseye when he shot Paris.
An arrow that took 10 years to its target.
The Zeus shot, they call it.
No doubting it either.
Zeus says it, it happens.
His plans get accomplished.
It was like that with Paris.
Guest, stranger, and welcome at the hospitable table of the blood clan of Atreus.
His gratitude,
Guest, thanks.
grabbing of Helen.
And what did Helen bequeath to her people?
Spear clash and shield clang.
The massive armada.
The dowry she went with to Troy was destruction.
A bad day for this house.
Bad day for the master. Look at the bedclothes.
Still rumpled with passion.
Menelaus, apart, is brooding his love loss. Stunned into silence.
A shadow.
A ghost man.
Statues mean nothing.
Stones, eyeless and lifeless.
His sleep's full of dream wives.
Helen-shaped shadows that bring ease a moment then vanish away.
He tries to grasp her. She slips through his fingers, shadowing off down the flyways of sleep.
This is the anguish of the country's chief household.
It doesn't stop there, though.
Grief goes all over.
Each house in Argos sent someone to battle.
And gets back for menfolk
Jars full of cinders.
a plectrum of sorrows, plucks women's grief strings.
Sharker is god of war,
broker of men's bodies, usurer of living flesh, corpse trafficker that God is. Give to war your men's flesh gold, and what are your returns? Kilos of cold clinker packed in army issue urns.
Wives, mothers, sisters, each one scans the dog tags on the amphorae.
which grey ashes are my man's. They sift the jumbled names and cry,
My husband sacrificed his life.
My brother's a battle martyr.
Aye, for someone else's wife.
Helen, whore of Sparta!
Whisper.
mutter,
Belly aching, the people's beef and bile. This war's been our clan chiefs making.
The sons of Atreus
and their cause.
Where's my father, husband, boy? Where do all our loved ones lie? 6 feet under near the Troy, they died to occupy.
Those fires make the rumors fly through the street.
Is it all true? Some he-god's deceit. Who's such a child wit to believe the flame first?
Then feel despondent when the bubble's been burst.
Women?
Women are always ready to act before they know if a rumour's true fact.
women are gullible.
Mine's like dry straw.
One worship belief and then nothing more.
We'll know soon enough what that blaze was about.
Those beacons and bonfires, newfangled flame graphs.
Whether there's anything in it, or whether it's just the wishful thinking women indulge in.
Look, there's a herald coming up from the seashore. The mud of the trenches caked dry on his tunic.
He's wearing the olive wreath, and there, look, behind him. Look at that dust cloud.
That means that it's real news.
Not feminine flame of force kindled on mountains.
Words spoken man to man.
Spoken directly.
He'll say rejoice, or
That mustn't happen.
So far, so good.
And let it continue.
And if anyone wants anything else for this blood clan, I hope that he gets what his malice deserves.
Home soil, Argos ground, clanland, home. A 10-year absence ends in this bright dawn. Most hopes were shipwrecked, one scraped back safe. The hope that I'd make it back home here to die and find rest in the earth I most cherish. Earth, earth, sun, sun. Zeus, god chief, highest of he-gods, Apollo, god seer, Pythian prophet. Those arrow shafts shot at us, hold back the volleys. God aggro enough on the banks of Scamander, now with a cure-all, the sole salve Apollo. Hermes, he-god, herald of high god clans, guardian of heralds to men down below and heroes, under whose gaze we were drafted, welcome us back. Those few spared the spear thrust. House of our clan chief, homes of my bloodkin, throne stones and godstones, facing the sun's glare. If ever you once did, welcome your king back. Look on him with kind eyes after his absence, like a bright firebrand blazing through darkness to stop us all stumbling. King Agamenon, welcome him warmly. He's earned your warm welcome. He swung the god axe, Zeus the avengers, tore Troy's roots up, dug her earth over, her god shrine shattered, her altars all gutted, fruitful earth scorched into futureless dust bowls, an empire gone putrid and tossed on time's midden. Troy's neck's got his yoke on,
Your clan chiefs, first he child of Atreus, most lucky of lifelot, worthier than any of the honours he's taken.
I doubt Raper Paris thought it was worth it. The town he brought doom on won't boast of his bride snatch, branded for wife theft. He lost what he'd plundered, his ancestral blood clan raised, root and branch. Priam's sons paid for it an eye for an eye, or more like 10,000 eyes for each one.
Welcome, Herald. You're home. The war's far behind.
I kept alive for this, now death I don't mind.
Did you long for your home here, back at the war?
What else do you think my weeping is for?
You could say it was sweet, in a way, your disease.
Sweet? A disease? What riddles are these?
That longing you had, we caught it here too.
You long for us as we long for you.
So much that our gloom made us groan with despair.
What made you so gloomy? Our being out there?
It's best for our safety if no more is said.
With the clan chiefs away, what caused you this dread?
Like you, we too wouldn't mind being dead.
Looking back now it's over, with good times and bad times. Suffering, only the gods escape it entirely. If you'd known firsthand our louse-ridden billets, cramped berths on board, claustrophobic, foul bedding, what didn't we have to complain of, you tell me? Ashore was no better, worse. We bivouacked under the walls with the enemy firing, drenched either by drizzle or dew from the ground. Clothes mouldy with mildew, locks crawling with lice. First unbearable cold, snow blowing off Ida, blizzards killing bird flocks frozen in flight. Then heat, and even the ocean seemed stifled, slumped, zephyrless in unruffled siestas, slack billows lolling in the deadest of doldrums.
But why go on? What's the point? The pain's over. And for the dead, so over and done with, they'll never lust after a life lot again. The dead are dead. Who wants a head count? Why should the living scratch open old scabs? We've left it behind us. Goodbye to all that. We are what's left. There's some good for the living. The pain and the losses don't quite overbalance. We can shout out to the universe proudly, the blood clans of Argos, in battle alliance, having mashed into ashes Asia's town Troy, now nail up these god spoils to Hellas's he-gods. For all that, we'll get the credit and praises, and Zeus the god's whale share. He made it happen. That's all. That's all there is for the telling.
Your news shows me that I was mistaken.
But you're never too old to learn a new lesson.
Clytemnestra, she should be first to hear the whole story.
The leftovers and scraps of it satisfy me.
I started my triumph cry some time ago, and the first flame messenger arrived in the darkness proclaiming the capture and downfall of Troy. And what did the men say? Just like a woman. One beacon, that's all. And she thinks Troy's been captured. Mutterings like that made me feel stupid. I went on with the sacrifice, in spite of their moaning. Then the whole city began behaving like women, raising the triumph cry, shouting and bawling, and feeding the thank fires almost to bursting. And why should you tell me anything further? I'll have the whole tale from the mouth of my man-lord, and it's his welcome now that must be fully prepared. No day in the life of a woman is sweeter than that one. When she flings the door open to welcome her man-lord brought safely back from the war. Go! Tell him come quickly. He's loved by his people. Tell him he'll find his wife faithful and bond true as when he first left her. And like a good bloodhound, his loyal servant and his enemy's foe. He'll find all his treasures still with his seal on. Tell him I've accepted no man's attentions. I'm no more a breaker of bed bond than as a woman I wield a man's weapon.
All the words of the woman are clear enough.
If those who are listening give all their ears.
Herald, what about Menelaus, our other clan chief?
You haven't said he's home safe as well.
Falsehood is something fair lies never hide. The mask of glad messenger just wasn't mine.
Skins can be fair, and the fruit bad inside. Can't good news and truth ever share the same vine?
Menelaus, he's missing that clan chief of yours. He's gone, his ship's gone, and this is all true.
He set sail with you, though, when the force left Troy's shore.
Did a sudden storm blow up and snatch him from view?
Storm, yes, you've hit the bullseye. Storm's a small word that encompasses hell.
Is he still living, or did the chief die?
Is there anyone there in the fleet who can tell?
No one knows anything, at least not us men. Only the sun that looks down from the sky.
How did the storm start?
Why did it?
When? Was it some god grudge, and if a grudge, why?
A god grudge! A god grudge! Don't drag in those she-gods! Some gods preside over pleasures, some pain. Those she-gods go with the most galling god grudge. This day's a homecoming, meant to be happy. When the clan messengers arrived shedding tears to announce to his blood clan what they've been dreading, the rout of their armies, a mountainous death toll, with anguish for all in the rolls of the fallen, the best lads in their ton-loads tangled and landed and gashed by the flesh hook, the fish gaff of Ares, gaff flukes and grapnel barbs, gory with flesh bits. If he comes so overbalanced with trouble, then that's the time to start hymning the Furies. But if the news is good that he's bringing, and the city's wild with relief and success, who wants to be first to get the good curdled and blurt it all out? Shipwreck, shrew grudge. The grudges of she-gods shattered the Greek ships. Flame and salt water are scarcely a blood bond. This time they were, though, elements merging, and their bond proof smashing our ships into splinters. Blackness, wave force, sea heaving and swelling, fierce thrashing gale squalls whistling from Thrace, hurricanes blasting, rain lashing and pelting, ship prow smashing ship prow, horned beast goring beast, beasts with their horns locked butting each other. You know when a collie not used to its charges scatters the daft sheep every direction, colliding, collapsing, that kind of chaos? Well, that's how the waves were. Next morning, the Aegean had mushroomed with corpses and shipwreck. Our ship, though, amazing. Still whole and undamaged. Some god interceded, got our ship a pardon. Our helm had been guided by the hand of some he-god. Our ship was one that didn't get shattered. Couldn't believe it, escaping that wave grave. Couldn't believe our life lot so lucky. We were shocked in the clear light of morning, chewing the cud of the nightmare we'd lived through. Our ship throng had suffered a terrible thrashing. If any of the others survived, they'll be thinking we're finished as we still do of them. May everything still turn out for the better. Menelaus, let's suppose that he's made it. Let's hope he's still somewhere under the sunlight. Zeus can't want the whole blood clan blasted. That's the truth you wanted. You've got it all now.
He mocked me, Apollo, those wretched prophets. He wanted to scorn the right by blood, or vagabond, mountain, and tipsy and starveling. The gods had cast his prophetess. My father's own secret, now mere beast oblation. Lifeblood flowing hot off the hack rock. We won't die forgotten. God always knows. Mother, killer, wanderer, exile, setting the Pope's stone on this bloodclan's corruption. The Father's court drawing the son back to our God. These tears, these eyes saw Troy leveled, and those who destroyed her doomed also to die. Now it's for me to die. The doorway to death. I pray for a clean blow, no painful convulsion. My blood ebbing gently, closing my eyes. If you can foresee death, then why do you go for it? There's no escape now. No more delay.
While there's life, there's... You know what they say?
No hope for me, though. It's pointless, all flight.
How bravely you seem to face up to your flight.
Yes, only the doomed are ever called brave.
But isn't it noble to face up to the grave?
You mean like my father and brothers all died?
What is it, Spear? Was that why you tried? What was that cry for? What thickens your brain?
It stinks like an abattoir grain.
It's the sacrifice made for our clan chief's return.
It stinks like the gas from a burial urn. It's only the incense the priest always burns. I'll go inside, wailing our death. Mine, Agamenon, enough of life! I know frightened flesh since this year when the butcher gets taken from you what I beg, the bearing of witness, when woman for woman, my killers kills also, and the man makes the doom get killed for your fancy. I beg this favor as a stranger going to die. Now, I pity you, so open-eyed about dying. A few last words, the requiem dirge on. I ask the son, last slave I'm addressing, that when the avengers cut down the assassin, one stroke for the slave girl butchered defenseless. Man's life, luck blotted out by the splendor of its shadow. Trouble, a wet sun wipes the slave's head. But pain's also nothing, makes life a hard.
Spoken many words to serve the moment, which have no compunction now that contradict. How else could I lie, so loving, could I have plotted my enemies down? How rig the net so it can't be left out of? This is the blood grudge. The grudge is fruition, something I've brooded on quite a long time. I've done what I meant to. I wouldn't deny it. Over his head I cast a vast so that hauls in whole souls at each casting. He couldn't get out of his flowing dubro. Twice I struck him, he screamed twice, then crumpled. Once he had fallen, I struck him a third blow. One struck for Zeus in his role as corpse keeper. He lay there gasping and splurting his blood out, spraying me with dark blood. You I delight in as much as a raindrop. Fresh gloss rainfall when the weak bodies in labor and swells the birth pang. So that's how it is, old men of Argos. Cheer if you want to. I revel in glory. Had his libations. Spurts from his blood vein. He poured woe and bitterness into our wine bowl. He took the last goblet and lapped up the lees.
Your word removes me. How can you trumpet go on like a woman over your man, Lord?
Still, you can treat me like a woman who's witless. My heart's made of steel, and as I have stated, whether you like it or not, there's Agamenon. This is the sword hand that brought him to blood right. I hacked down my husband. That's how it is, woman.
Some earthmen's driving you crazy.
To brave the damning voice of the people.
You've sown and you'll reap banishment,
exile, driven out of the country.
Curse that spatter!
Oh, now you're ready to banish exile, the people, hate, and public damnation. And how did you punish this murderer here? I visited her in the slaughtering cattle. His sheepfolk were bursting. He butchered his she-child. The she-child I labored alone on her life lost. Some sweetest dog talk, settle storms fall. You should have banished him for pollution. But it's now that you start to pay. Turn to banishment. If you can make me, if you enforce it, I will teach you some wisdom. You'll go back to school and learn some hard lessons.
Your my power will brave it. Your brains be weebled with blood ink. Your eyes have red blood flecks for pupils. You're doomed to be honorless, friendless, defenseless, and stab wound for stab wound. You reap retribution.
Then listen to this, the oath that I'll swear by. My blood rights exacted on behalf of my she-child. By Iphigenia, whose blood floods has roasted, by the fury for whom Agamenon the booty, I swear I'll never let thee at my fireside as long as the heart is such a light. By existence, loyal friend always, my shield, my protector. Agamenon, shameless, shaft-happy, ogler and grinder of Troy's golden girlhood. Look at her, be a bride, prophetess, princess, whore of his war tent, is bashed back on shipboard. They got their deserts. There's two of them now. There he lies. She sung her swan song and lies, as she should do, stretched out alongside him. His tears death a side dish, a banquet of his.
King Agamenon, how can we mourn you? How give a voice to bereavement and love lost? There is a spider web, spewing your life out. The impious weapon swung by the spout. Fiend!
Spout? No. Wife? No. What swung the sword blade? Semblance, the shape of his corpse's spout. Only, wielding the weapon with no wife and no woman, but his family's handsome. Atheist, the flesh chef, offering flayed, each fully fledged victims, one for each butchered and barbecued babe.
You guiltless, and who do you witness?
Some God must have helped you fulfill the blood grudge.
Black Ares, I'm not wading deep in the blood bowl. The blood grudge that goes him, the cold goings of children. How can we mourn you? How give a voice to reason and love lost? There in the spider web, spewing your life out, the hideous weapon, one by the spout.
His death no worse than the one he inflicted when he forged his own link in this house's doomed tale. He suffered the fate, he made others suffer. Iphigenia, still wept for, sweet flower, his she-child, shall go boasting in Hades, steel slinger, sword brute. You got back your stab wounds, all you inflicted.
My mind of snoring foundations are shaking, longer than sizzle, a hammering bloodstone. Fate drops its blade for more and more bloodbound. Why didn't you take me, Master? Let me live to see the king humble.
rolled up in his blood in a bathtub of silver.
To bury the body, who sing the grave dirge.
You wouldn't surely first kill our clan chief, then pour speeches, tribute over his tombstone?
Who'll mourn him? We not the master.
That's not your business. I hacked him down, and a sword hand strong enough to strike him can dig him a ditch. No mourning from no one. All that's forbidden. If we deny her, she'll greet him by the waters of sorrow, flinging her arms round her father.
Collar for collar, blood grudge for blood grudge, while Zeus, the high he god, is still the god's clan chief. The law for the living is killers get killed. Life in the bloodstream, curse in the corpuscle. The feet of this clan bogged down in the blood crag.
The future, the truth, you're beginning to see them. I'll make a bond with this palace's blood fiend. What's happened so far, I'll accept and fall in with. Hard though that is, I'll do it, provided the fiend leaves this house and finds other quarters to ravage the people and goad them to murder. Riches mean nothing. A little suffices. If only this frenzy of kin-killing ceases.
A great day when blood right comes into its own. This proves there are gods who see crimes and punish.
I'm happy, so happy to see this man tangled in robes of dark red, the Furies have woven, fulfilling the blood grudge caused by his father. This man's father Atheus, once king of Argos, there being some dispute as to who should be clan chief, drove my father, his brother Thyestes, away. Thyestes came back as a suppliant begging, at least his life sparing, the minimum mercy, no son's blood staining his father's own threshold. His grandfather Atheus the god, whose mask of warm welcome kept hatred hidden, threw a great banquet as if for Thyestes, and dished out his children. Daintiness, the fingers and toes he chopped off to disguise. And my father alone of the guests got this child stew. Not being aware what it was indeed, he boasted the banquet of blood of his blood clan. When he knew what he chewed, he choked on the child's stew, shrieked, reeled backward, spewed out the offal.
You want your first lessons already, I see.
Comrades, you needn't stand firm with me.
Draw your swords out. Ready, stand by.
Stand by? Not one of us here is afraid to die.
I'm glad that you told me. So go ahead, die.
No, my dear, no more bloodletting. There's been enough. Old men of Argos, go home now quietly before you regret it. We did what we had to. Let it rest there. The fiend's hooves have galloped over our spirits. Let it rest there. Take advice from a woman.
But they jibe at me, mock me. You're pushing your luck, you old foul-mouthed. I'm your new ruler. Don't you forget it.
Argives don't trouble by your evil thought.
The Argives like you will have to be taught.
Not if Orestes comes back to his own.
Exiled, eat toast. All gristle and bone.
Grow fat on injustice, shit on the state.
I'm warning you, old fool, before it's too late.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, the dung-heap lord.
Roar a bit louder, your hen will applaud.
Let the terriers yap or bark and no bite. You and I, we'll rule this house. and set it right